time to get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
Hey, what's going on, Ambitious Vet? Chris Hoffman here. I just want to thank you for jumping inside the trenches yet again this week. This week, we're going to have a special solo episode with yours truly. And my goal here is to really just get down to how can you get ahead of hurry up and wait. You know, that problem that we all dealt with in the military, right? That hurry up and wait problem that you bring to your post-military life, surprisingly. And it actually kills off a lot of different opportunities and different variety of different possibilities in your life. But you see, here's the thing, Ambitious Vet, is in the military, you know, whether you're still in or when you were out, you get up, you wake up somewhere around 04, you hurry up to participate in Squadron PT, then you wait for about 30 minutes until senior enlisted show up, then you hurry up the PT and then wait for PT to potentially just be done if you're a shit hot PT stud. And then we hurry up chow time, right? Just to get back to the shop at 07:30, right? Just to get to the shop and then wait for, just really further instructions on how to continue to hurry up and wait throughout our workday in the military. Right? Plug your own military example here on how you experience the hurry up and wait way of life. But we've all heard it. We all laugh about it when we're drinking beers at a variety of different potential veteran drinking clubs, cigar shops, or wherever you like to hang out with your military buds post-military. We always like to joke around about this concept. But inside this episode, I want you to really understand, although it's funny, we want to figure out how we can get ahead of that potential problem that you're bringing into your life post-military. Now, let's take the same hurry up and wait of life and apply it to civilian life. There's a lot of hurrying up just to wait for further instructions that may or may not come back to you, meaning you may not get instructions back, right? In the civilian world, people don't really care that much. You know, there's not a regimented way of life. There's, you could get fired potentially if you don't self-generate yourself. You're not stuck to a duty station for 2 years, 4 years, depending on your orders, right? It really can be an individual sport once you get into the civilian world, can't it? But what if we could take this intense way of executing, right? That rough that tough that devil dog and my Marine sense, and apply it in our everyday lives and use the waiting to receive invaluable feedback, resources, connections, or information in yourself if this is what you really want or need to be doing. So I think when I'm thinking about what I just said is like there's so many times in your life where you're going to hurry up and wait, right? You're hurrying to execute. We're so mission-driven. We're so outcome-focused. But very few times do we actually slow down and check in with ourselves to see, hey, am I actually having fun here? Is this what I want to be doing? Am I happy? Am I fulfilled? Am I satisfied here? Or just external feedback, right? As far as results that you produced, resources, people giving you feedback, whatever that may be, and actually listening to that while you're waiting versus smoking and joking in the smoke pit while you're waiting for further instruction. And as kind of an analogy, right? But let me tell you a story, right? For me personally, right? I know sometimes I don't always open up as much as I should. Probably my daddy issues from my upbringing, but I'm going to open up just a little bit here. I've been out of the Marine Corps now for 10 years, right? It's going on 10 years this year. And I'm still learning how to slow down in my execution to see things not seen along the process, right? What do I mean by that? Is I'm 10 years down the road post-military now. I've had probably over 6 careers at this point. Got fired from a few, failed in a business or two, and have slowly but surely crawled my way to now this startup that is going in the right direction. Let's just say that. And sometimes I still fail to slow down enough to see things along the process, right? I get so caught up in just getting to the next outcome, like almost feeling anxiety just to get to the outcome. And I think sometimes I'm just in that super survival instinct place that the military put inside of me, right? We always got to close with and destroy the enemy as quickly as possible, right? And you never really shake it, or in my case personally, I have yet to really shake it off, because I've seen, I think in my brain, just opening up here a little bit more, in my brain, I see the payoff of out executing my civilian counterparts. And it's not necessarily always the most profitable thing or value contribution way of doing things post-military. Now, let me use another on-the-court example. What I mean by an on-the-court example, think about any kind of sport you play. You can either be in the stands or you can be on the court. The language is totally different, right? An on-the-court example in my everyday life right now is I'll use my relationships for example, right? There are plenty of times where I jump to conclusions, make assumptions, completely, really, just to try to end conversations as fast as possible, versus slowing down, waiting and asking clarifying questions to gain more information that could have the outcome of the relationship and conversation be more effective and satisfying for not only myself, but the person in front of me, right? Now, I'm not saying I do that in all of my relationships, but there are some that I could definitely slow down enough, not jump to assumptions or conclusions, just to get past that thing, just to wait for what's next, right? And I want you to think about for your own life, where are you trying to jump to the outcome? It could be relationships, your business, your current role or function in your job. Where are you jumping to the outcome versus slowing down enough to process the information in the waiting time period? So in my case, with relationships, what I'm doing there in communication, whether I see it or not, is hurrying up the conversation just to wait for something else to happen. And that's the humbling truth of it all. So what this does is this kills my deep connection in my relationships. Now, as I said, not all of them, right? I'm not a complete asshole in all my relationships where I'm just jumping to assumptions and shutting off everybody when we're sharing ideas or, all of that stuff. But there are moments where I could definitely slow down, ask better questions based on what they're saying to understand them more and create that deeper connection. And I don't think I'm alone with that. This hurrying up and wait philosophy, although it can be effective in certain environments, it's important to slow down and find ways to listen to what is collected through the waiting. Here's a framework I use in any situation I feel like I'm hurrying up and waiting in. And I just jotted this down, brain dumped this right before I hit record. So please forgive me and interchange them however, that works for you. But this is something that I have found that worked for me. So leverage this and bring your critical thinking, your creative thinking, and start generating new thoughts to help you slow down so you can be more effective. So step one of the framework is, what's that desired outcome, right? And my relationships and my communication, it's usually, depending on the context, business, personal relationships, whatever, it's usually, hey, I want to be able to create some awesome connections here. Like connection here, I want to create a win for this person. I want to laugh and I want to have fun. Something around the line of an intention, right? So what's your desired outcome, whatever the thing that you need to be slowing down more inside of? Step two of the framework, how can I enjoy the process in getting there? Or how can I make it fun, right? So I kind of already jumped to that step, but it's like, ask yourself that question, right? We don't even slow down enough to ask ourselves these questions because we're processing information so quickly, which is a superpower for veterans, by the way. But think about it. Slowing down enough to connect your emotions with the information you're processing is a powerful idea. How can I enjoy the process in getting there? Or how can I make it fun, right? Step three, what are ways I can ask the right questions from Google, right? I always say to anybody I talk to now is Google's our new common sense, right? You can just go to Google, get access to anything. And if you ask a question that it doesn't know, you should probably start a business around that idea, right? But I'll let you think on that one a little bit more. But ask the person in front of you, a group forum, like a Facebook group or Reddit feed, or in your network, because inside of this, when you slow down to ask the right questions from any medium that you have at your disposal in front of you, it provides a different perspective, right? And I think 9 times out of 10, our biggest sufferings as veterans, when we're pissed off, we're frustrated, we don't know why we feel isolated or depressed or angry or all that, is because we're failing to gain the needed information to create a different perspective. Now, you can do that by slowing down. Step 4 of the framework. Ask yourself, how do I have everyone feel included and appreciated, right? So this is pretty much just in the context of if you're using people, right? Asking the right questions from people or around your desired outcome that you're trying to create. How do I have everyone feel included? So you're building that social support around that problem you're trying to solve or the decision you're trying to make. Step 5, and the last step, is after execution, asking what feedback is there. Find a way to measure it, right? So in my case, in relationships and communication, if my initial feedback from the person in front of me is just like a look like, wow, you're a self-absorbed asshole, I might have to sit there and look and be like, okay, where can I get better to not leave someone feeling that way about me, right? Or maybe like the outcome could be positive feedback. Maybe at the end of the conversation, someone's saying, hey, Chris, I really like how you created this, this new idea, or, you had me really feel heard in this point, right? That's valuable feedback, right? And slowing down enough to measure how often people are telling you that over a certain amount of time starts exposing who you really are from a personal brand standpoint too. So I don't want to get into personal branding too much. Mostly just want you to see the problem in, bringing the hurrying up and wait philosophy into your civilian life, right? And we want to make sure that we're getting ahead of this as much as possible. So the framework again, step 1, what's the desired outcome? 2, how can I enjoy the process of getting there, or how can I make it fun? 3, what are ways I can ask the right questions from Google, the person in front of me, a group forum, in my network to really help me shift my perspective? 4, how do I have everyone feel included and appreciated? And 5, after execution, ask what feedback's there and find ways to measure it. I'll also have it in the show notes below, Ambitious Vet. Now, last thing I want to conclude with here is I just really appreciate you showing up week in and week out, as it is 98% of the battle, as you probably are learning. But if you want to win the war, Ambitious Vet, apply what you learn in these episodes that you're consuming now, which you have, I believe, over 200 episodes you can go back and consume and categorize them in different topics that meet your individual needs. Make sure you're applying it, executing it. And if you're not clear on how to execute, different content or episodes that you're consuming, either reach out to myself or the person we're interviewing, right? We're all here to become better, right? That's one of our core philosophies here at the Ambitious Vet Network, is how do I improve every day in the trenches of life? So how you can reach out to us directly if you want to figure out how to learn how to execute or get clear on some of these ideas, or how you can slow down and get ahead of your hurry up and waiting problem post-military, go to our website, ambitiousvetnetwork.com, and there's a contact us page there. Go ahead and let us know, and we'd love to connect with you and figure out how we can help you improve in the trenches of life. Ambitious Vet, until next time, hold the vision and trust the process. Take care.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.